Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, I have said many times that my bank will call me whenever they get 1,000 singles. And as cool as I find that, sometimes it'll happen multiple times in a week. Sometimes it'll happen multiple times in a day. But every once in a while, someone will come in and they will demonstrate an unusual savings technique like I do with my not spending $5 bills. I don't spend $5 bills. I put them into a strap. I can turn $100 into $5, but I've discussed that before. Anyway, this week, my tellers said that a waitress worked at a drive-in restaurant in my town that's only seasonal. And all season long, she puts away all of her, my camera's dropping down, that's funny. All season long, she puts away all of her tips. And she turned in 2,000 singles. So this is week 1 of the 2,000 singles. Next week, we will go into week 2 of those 2,000. So here's the first 1,000 there, and we're going to go through. Now, the reason why I say all that is because I know that since these came from a waitress, this is circulation money, okay? What's the best way to put that? Odds are people who write things on notes, people who stamp things on notes, stuff like that, want to keep the notes circulating, so they will generally use those types of notes as tips, because if a waitress gets a bunch of singles, then odds are they will buy out, a 20 from the register so that the register still has singles to give change. So anyway, what I'm getting at is the singles that are usually turned in by waitresses and, stuff from tips generally are the stuff that you're going to find interesting things on. And knowing that I've got these 1,000 and another 1,000 coming next week, I am anxious to see what I found. Well, I already know what I found in these, but that should make it a little interesting as well. So let's slide these out of the way and take a look at what I found. And sure enough, first note here is, this one's kind of interesting. It's from 2006. It's dated 4/19/09. And good luck, love the something family. Paul, I don't know what that is. But to me, this looks like a note that somebody wrote a message on, and then the note was probably saved with a bunch of others. I'm just trying to look and see if there's any holes or anything for where it was pinned or tape marks. Because you'd think something like this would be posted on a wall or something like that with everything else. Anyway, so that was an interesting note that I found. Like I said, a 2006 note with a message from 2009, and here it is, 2022. So that's interesting. Somebody put their political beliefs on a note. It's always fun finding these. Let's see, and I did find a Where's George. I am kind of familiar with this stamp. It is a common stamp, so it may not necessarily be somebody I had found before. This was a Where's George that I have not seen before, so I can't wait to log this one. That's definitely a stamp that I have not seen. Then we get to some birthday notes. Here, this one is 1971, the 21st of June. And another birthday note, 1999, the 18th of April. Pretty rough shape on that one. Then I've got some quads. This is 4s, 6s, and 9s. 1s, 5s, and 6s. Did I say quads? Trinaries. 1s, 5s, and 6s on this trinary. 1s, 4s, and 9s on this one. And 0s, 2s, and 8s. Just that 1 8. Otherwise, that would have been a binary. 0s, 5s, and 6s on this one. Pretty rough shape. And then here are my quads. Quad 7s on this note. And this one is not quads. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6s. A little bit of an overprint there, but 5 6s in a row on this note. Then I've got some stars. 2017 star, 2017 A star, I should say. Checking to make sure that the stars are not filled. Another 2017, well, this one's a 2017, no A on it. Also not a filled star. 2017 starting with a couple zeros. I always like to see that. Another 2017 here. another 2017, and another 2017. So yeah, stars are not drying up in my area. I'm still finding plenty of star notes. 2013 stars. For those of you who are having difficulty finding star notes, keep in mind that new bills have not been released in a long time, so we are basically all just churning through the same notes over and over again. So if stars are starting to dry up around you, that just means you're probably not the only collector around in your area. And eventually they'll start printing new money. Once they do, then we'll be able to find a lot more stars, a lot more fancies. I'm still doing good though. 2013 star right here. This is a 2013 B. That's one of the New York ones, one of the doubled ones. There's a lot of craziness going on eBay about these. There are people that are paying $20 to $30 a piece for these notes if they are in the range of the duplicate series. Don't do that. don't be paying $25 to $30 for one of these notes. They first of all aren't that rare, and secondly they only have value if you can pair them. Yes, if you have the pair, you're talking $25,000 to $50,000. But if you don't have the pair, it's still just $1. For the heck of it, I put up 12 of them in a group and managed to get $10 a piece for the entire group. I couldn't believe that. But yeah, I don't recommend buying them at that price, not when they're so readily available. Another star note from 2013. Another 2013 star. And this one is from 2006, so an older star note. Rough shape, but still neat to find one that old. 2003A, it's in a little bit better condition, so I wanted to check it with what I had. And this one's a 2003, also in a little bit better condition. 2003, not quite as much, but it's a J note, and I don't see a whole lot of Kansas City, so I figured I'd take it and see what else is out there. Another 2003B. Probably shouldn't have pulled this one. I'm pretty sure I got it, but I'll double check anyway just to make sure it doesn't upgrade. Then I've got some 1999 here. And a 1995, checking to see if it's a web note. Not a web note. It does have an X, though. Y is as far as they got there, so that's kind of neat to see. 1988A, still not a web note. Another 88A, also not a web note. Rough shape on this one. 1977A, that one is in really rough shape, but how often do you see a note from the 70s? I think it's got a piece of tape here in the center. And finally, check this out. Here's the find of the week. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nines. 2 999, 999, 7. 2 notes away from having 7 in a row, and this note being 2 999, 9999. Still 6 in a row. That is something that is very difficult to find. I don't find this too often at all. Really wish it would have been a radar, but oh well, what are you going to do? All right, that's what I found this week. What did I bring out? Well, I always tell you guys to make sure that your friends know that you collect, because that way they may be able to surprise you. And that's exactly what one of my friends did. He actually brought me 2 notes, and much like my strap hunt is a 1 of 2, my keynote here will also be a 1 of 2. Next week I'll bring out the other one. He brought me this. This was his circulation find, and he didn't really want to hold on to a $100 bill, so he just gave it to me for face value. This is a 1934 $100 Federal Reserve note. Now, we'll check up here. This is the new inscription. It says, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, and is redeemable in lawful money. It's not one of the redeemable in gold. They took those out in 1933. Starting in 1934, that is the version that we get there. One of the other things you're going to notice about this note right away is it is the lime green seal. Yes, a lime green seal on this $100 note. It does have a hard crease here in the center. It does have a hard crease here, but the rest of the note, aside from being just a little dirty, is actually pretty good. It does have, looks like a little bit of ink, real fine inking right over here. Other than that, though, I mean, like I said, the note is decent. Take a look at the back. Independence Hall right there, very cool. does not have "In God We Trust," so it's still constitutional, so that's good. So what does something like this go for? Well, let's take a peek at the book and see what the book has to say. The book, right here, we are looking for $100 notes right there. Series of 1934 legal tender clause note on vivid light green seal. That's what we're looking for. And if we look at G, we've got 2152/G. They made 7 million of these notes, and even at a 20, they're $150. Uncirculated, you're talking about $275. So that's it right there. But yeah, as a 20, $150. That's a 50% increase just from finding something in circulation, or at least for being aware and being able to save that particular note. Now, this may very well end up as an auction item in the near future, so I will be bringing it out again if that is the case. But still, finding a $150 note for face value, that's the way you want to be adding to your collection. All right, guys, if you learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.